Alright, so this is like my 8th or ninth attempt at recording a speech to upload. Attempts with my phone have been unsuccessful, but now I just got my MacBook Pro today, baby, so hopefully that'll make things a little easier. I will post a separate link with the visual aid, which is basically just a slideshow of a few pictures of Pat Tillman, my subject. However, should that fail, I'm playing this as my visual aid. It was the book that I read that inspired me. So, yes, I think it should count as my visual aid. So, cool. Also, I don't have a stopwatch, so I'm not really going to be aware of how long this is taking. I'm going to try to keep it under 5.5 minutes. Anyway, let's rock and roll. Alright, so today I'm here to tell you all about Pat Tillman, who was a remarkable individual. He was an awesome football player, a true intellectual, and just an overall great All-American hero. And I recently read this book, Where Men Win Glory, by John Krakauer, which is about the life of Pat Tillman. And I was so inspired by it that I actually changed the initial topic of my speech to this so I could share it with you all today. And I hope his story inspires you all as well. So as I said, Pat Tillman was first off an incredible football player. He was known on the field for his aggressive, intense, hard-hitting style of play. He won the year 2000 Pac-10 Defensive Lineman of the Year award when he was playing for ASU, and he also played for the Arizona Cardinals after that. In addition to that, Pat was considered by many of his friends to be a surfer dude Socrates. He was very laid back, but he was definitely an intellectual. He absorbed a huge amount of literature. He frequently kept journals of his thoughts and place in the world. He liked to engage in Socratic discussion, and he graduated from ASU in just 3.5 years with a 3.85 GPA. And in addition to all these qualities, Tillman had this strong sense of duty that was instilled deep within him to fight for his fellow man and his country. So it was no surprise to anyone, really, when after the events of 9/11, Tillman turned down a $3.8 million contract extension with the Arizona Cardinals to fight in the U.S. Army. Pat Tillman and his brother Kevin enlisted May 30th, 2002, and they were immediately deployed to Iraq. Now, Pat had problems with this because he joined the Army to fight basically Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, and he did not think that the war in Iraq was justified. However, again, and this goes back to his sense of duty, he stressed repeatedly that he would fulfill his functions no matter what. In a journal entry while he was there, he wrote, if Kevin and I must fight, we will fight as hard as anyone ever has. We will not question the reasons for our being here or allow our personal beliefs to interfere with our jobs. However, he also went on to say, I hope this war is about more than money, oil, and power. I doubt that it is. Pat was also very aware that because he had been a professional NFL player, he was in the limelight for his choice to join up with the military. And he constantly expressed fears to his friends and family that should anything happen to him, that he would be, quote, paraded through the streets by the administration. And unfortunately, this is more or less exactly what happened to him. On April 22nd, 2004, when Pat's platoon was deployed in Afghanistan, they were ambushed by enemy fighters, and Pat was killed in the ensuing chaos. The Army released this heroic narrative of how he died bravely in the line of enemy fighter trying to save his platoon, and General McChrystal even headed up an effort to get Pat awarded with the Silver Star for meritorious conduct under enemy fire. Tillman was buried a national hero. This was all the story was in the media for like 3 weeks, if anyone remembers. The problem with this whole heroic narrative was that it was false. Tillman was not killed by enemy fighters. He was unfortunately gunned down by his own platoon, which unfortunately was a result of poor orders issued from commanding officers who actually weren't even on the ground with his unit but stationed miles away, basically setting arbitrary guidelines that they had to follow. Um, the initial investigation launched into Tillman's death uh, quickly disappeared, and later on, recommendations written by his fellow Rangers for him for the Silver Star were proven to be either grossly doctored or, in some cases, outright falsified. Um, and the Army just told everyone to remain silent about it in his platoon, even though it was pretty much common knowledge that he had been killed by friendly fire. And no one really knows why. But needless to say, when the Army finally came out with it over 5 weeks after Tillman's death, that he had been shot by his own platoon, his family was obviously not happy, and they pleaded with Congress to investigate. However, 8 years and 7 separate investigations later, there were only ever a few minor demerits issued, and in some cases, such as with General McChrystal, individual officers were even promoted in spite of this gross cover-up that occurred. Now, Tillman's tale should serve as a cautionary tale of the horrors and corruption that so often go hand in hand with war that most of us don't think about in our comfortable daily lives. But it should not taint Tillman's legacy. He was a true hero and patriot who gave up a comfortable lifestyle to fight for a country he believed in. And I think every American should know his story, the good and the bad. I strongly encourage you all to read this book, and I hope it will inspire you as it has inspired me. Thank you, and good night.